So let's go way back. Let's start from the beginning. Years ago, I tried to kill myself. We're gonna go fucking deep right now. One of the best days of my life, and I always say this, the best day of my life, one of the best days, was the day I tried to kill myself. And the reason why I say that is because on my way where I was about to jump off the George Washington Bridge, I was robbed at gunpoint by some random stranger telling me that he'd kill me if I didn't give him money. And I'm not even joking. I was a couple blocks away from where I was about to do it. And I'm standing there and I could either, I can fight him and then I get shot and that's it. It's, I could bleed out. Who knows? But the first thing that I thought about was him I told him exactly what I was doing. I told him, what my plan was. And then the guy, he drops his gun and he tells me why he's robbing me. And then we both start crying and I hug the guy. I treat him to coffee. And that night we just go our separate ways. I never see the guy again. And that guy saved my life. I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for him. So because of that moment, I wrote a screenplay.
For everything that comes to me, it's on and off, and so I leave this wisdom of uncertainty to the things that can't be so pretty, baby. You keep me soft and like a song, you keep me suave, don't you take me out of tune, just do what you can to move forward and keep this loving boy like your heart beating so, just taking home like your own, or like this boy I used to know.
I wrote a screenplay about mental health for men and just the experiences that I went through growing up. Won awards for the script. I rewrote it a couple times. In 2019, I start to meet a bunch of producers and actors who are all interested. We're getting ready to film in 2020, and then COVID hits, and we lose one of the executive producers. All the locations, most of the locations, all closed down because of COVID. So I kind of hit pause in my life, and it kind of hit me back into that depression mode. I was really upset. So during the process, during that whole time in COVID, I wrote another screenplay just to get my mind off things, because I was really dealing with a lot of the grief from losing my father, and it was really fucked up. It really messed me up. So I want to get behind the camera again after I wrote the script, and I was really thinking about it, and I'm on B&H, and as I'm going through the cart, I have my camera, my lens, my batteries, all the stuff that you would need to start off. I'm looking at the price, and it scares me. It's like, holy shit, what am I gonna do? I don't have this kind of money right now, but I really want to get into it. So immediately after I'm thinking about all of this, I get a phone call from my mom, and we're talking, and then all of a sudden my mom mentions, hey, by the way, your father left you some money. So I'm like, oh, okay. And, fine. How much did he leave me? And Jose, the number that she tells me is the same exact number that's in my cart on B&H to the penny. So I start crying. I tell her, why I'm crying, and we both start kind of flipping out. And my mom tells me, she says, your father always believed in you. Your father always wanted you to do this stuff, and maybe this is his last, wish for you to do the thing that he knew you could do. So I bought the camera, I bought everything, and immediately after, maybe a couple weeks later, there's a job opening for an influencer on Instagram that Alina had sent me, my wife, Alina. And I reach out, not thinking she's going to say yes, and I get the job. And I start doing all these little jobs all over Jersey City and New York, and I'm doing restaurants and bars and little businesses, just kind of filming commercials and stuff. And eventually she tells me, I want to do a wedding. I want you to film my wedding. So I say, yeah. At first I was kind of scared because I've never shot a wedding. And right afterwards, after I do that wedding, I get a bunch of emails from all these brides all around here saying, hey, I saw your work. Can you do my wedding? And right after that, it just started piling up. My wife, she tells me, this is your in. You want to make money while filming? Fucking do it. Like this is your way to do it. And ever since then, I created my business with her, Love Lens Films, which you could find on Instagram. And I'm in a very happy place right now. Like I feel really good. I'm glad I took that leap, and I'm doing something that I really like.
So, let's go even further back. Well, I guess that was way back, because you had mentioned Nice to Meet Me, which I didn't know you at that time. I knew you after that story, sort of in the middle before.
We met through Michael.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
yes.
let's dive into that. Like what was that experience like, in the early stages of filmmaking? Because I know you've done a lot of short films with him, and with that community, and starting out, like was that how you found your footing? Would you say in that area that was the first time you jumped into like indie filmmaking before you decided to tackle features and then get into the next adventure?
So I met Michael through Connecticut School of Broadcasting. I went to school there for radio and television. And he was one of my teachers who we started connecting with because I was really into the supernatural. I was into like ghosts and stuff like that. And I had this idea with a friend of mine who was who was part of the class that Mike had taught us. So I wanted to do this thing called the Boo Squad.
So do you have a name for them? Just so you know.
The children, we don't have.
They don't have a name. Okay.
No.
Whoa! Did you see all that?
Oh wow!
That is crazy.
Non-stop orbs.
Whoa!
Talk about a spiritual superhighway.
We have an interesting dynamic for the Boo Squad because he is eager to believe in everything. And
it's almost like anything I hear is paranormal to me.
And I bring him down back to reality.
It's like I'm up here and you guys are down here when we're doing investigations.
Yeah. So he's so hopeful that everything is paranormal, and I
shut me down.
I am based in facts.
The Boo Squad was like this, think The Office meets ghost hunting, where these idiots don't know what they're doing, but they put themselves in supernatural encounters, and we just kind of shot it. We shot it with in real time, no acting or anything like that. We kind of just, all right, let's see what happens, and it became this little thing. We had a blast with it. And kind of like faded away, but I always wanted to go back to it. And then Michael had started that business with Jarl for The Next American Gay, which I edited for him with someone else. And then he started doing more little shorts. At that time, I wasn't really working with him on that, but I kind of like would go in and out of like moments with him. We'd kind of like get together again, and he would disappear, and then we'd reconnect. And that's basically it, really. I mean, I like the short film stuff started. I would consider my short films started after I got that camera from the story that I just told you. That's when I decided, you know what, let me try this out.
What inspired Wash and Die?
Okay, so the original idea was it had to do with clothes on a chair at night. When I was sleeping in the room, there was a bunch of clothes, and it looked like a figure was sitting in my chair. And then I originally wanted to make the figure first, the one that I shot with the one in the chair. That was the original one. And then I don't know how it came about, but I actually wanted to make these little short films and kind of turn them into little mini episodes that kind of tie in together. Like the Wash and Die was connected to the figure.
Okay.
And eventually that kind of, I don't know if I wanted to do that, because there were ideas in there, but I kind of like held them back. But Wash and Die, what was it? I think I watched the show about, there was like a brujeria, there was like a witch or something who said something about clothes. If you want to get rid of bad energy from someone from the past, you have to take the clothes, wash them, and then put them in a bag and get rid of them and never see those clothes again. And that was kind of like, oh, what if I did something where, she's doing something like that, or she's washing these clothes and this evil entity is kind of watching her,
Yeah.
So I honestly, we were able to shoot in a laundromat, and we only had like 3 hours to kind of like set up and shoot something quickly. He was only giving us a certain amount of time. So I had more ideas that I wanted to do, but we were just like, let's just shoot this and let's see if we come up with something. Let's just see if something comes out of it. So that's what happened.
So now understanding that, the figure was sort of inspired by that scenario as well, but since you're saying they're not really interconnected in that way, they're not part of the same universe, would you say the figure, like, what is the figure? Is there like a little bit of intel you can give us?
No, there isn't. It really isn't. It's just it's just a figure. It's just a figure.
It just keeps growing though. Like
it just keeps growing. Yeah. It could be like its own little monster in its own little universe. I think like one of the ideas we had at the end of the movie for the figure was when it takes we shot it too, but it was too much. I was like, we'll leave it alone. At the end, when it takes my friend who plays the woman in the movie, Yanni, it takes her. And then we cut, and the light turns on, and it's a little boy calling out to his mom, like, "Mom, are you there? Mom, where are you?" And then we turn off the light, and the camera moves back to the bed, and it kind of consumed Yanni. And then you see like those little eyes that shine. I think we tried to do that in the movie, where we put like I forgot what we put. We put like tape around the eyes to make it look like cat eyes. Like, when you look at a cat at night, you shine the light and they kind of glow. So we wanted to make it look like, so once it consumes you, now you're part of this like darkness, this dark entity with the clothes. Like the clothes is there was something about clothes, but there really isn't that much. It's whatever. It was just, dude, honestly, it was just a test. It was just me like, let me just film and see what I can come up with, you know?
It was an effective test because, you know, I definitely had questions. And
I appreciate it. I guess, you know what I should do next time? If someone asks me that, I'll just flip it back to you and be like, what did you think it was? And then you interpret it. And then and if I like, I'll be like, that's exactly what it is.
I think it was a metaphor about, you know, weather change and...
There you go. That's what it is.
Before I let you go, basically, you know, being that you are a master at your craft, you are officially... Well, you've always been a professional, but now you're like...
Stop. Stop it.
Now you're making the buku wedding bucks, you know what I mean? So like...
Yeah.
So what advice do you have for anybody starting out? Like anybody who wants to get into directing, writing, this realm as you know it, what little gem could you leave behind for them?
No advice. I will give you... There's no advice I can give. Because everyone does everything differently, right? You went through it your own way. I went through it mine, you know? So my advice to you is don't take any advice and just do what you think is right. And if you fuck up on your own terms, it's on you. Simple as that. So take the risks, film the things that you like. If you're a fan of your own work, that's all that matters. You know, if you're making something because you love it, you fucking won, man. You did it, you know? There's going to be somebody else out there that loves what you love. So just be true to yourself in the craft. And if you fail at it, start all over again. Try it differently, you know? Simple as that.
Thank you, Louie.
Of course. What's your advice? What's your advice?
My advice... I've covered upon this too many times. I just do it. Like that's how it's worked out for me. There were things where I was just thrown into the fire, and I could either stand there or I could hop around and see if there was something to grab onto. And
that's the best way, though. That's the best way to do things. Because I mean, when I started editing, Michael Billy wanted me to edit the Next American Gay, and I kind of bullshitted and said, I know how to edit. I can edit, and I had no idea because you know what? That when I went to school. My video editor at the time quit on us. He quit the curriculum. So I was pissed off and I was like, shit, I want to learn how to edit. So then he kind of said like, oh, I need an editor for the Next American Gay. And at the time I was I kind of knew a little bit about Final Cut. I think it was Final Cut Pro, but I had no idea what the fuck I was doing. So I went on YouTube and I just watched a shit ton of videos, how to do it. And then this other guy that came on board, he kind of showed me, and we edited those. I think it was 12 episodes in a matter of a week or something. Like we did it so fast, 44-minute episodes, and that was it. You know, and again, it was like the basics. You know, there's a lot more that I learned as I went on, but yeah, man, you just fucking put yourself like how you said it. Put yourself in that fire and in that moment and just sink or swim, you know, like that's how they say it too. And just see what happens. Enjoy it, man.